how far apart are you guys?
6 years.
I'm old enough to be her mom.
It's only 6 years, but apparently some people used to think that I could be her daughter. It was one crazy lady.
We were on vacation and somebody comes up and starts talking to her. Oh, hi. And so then they turn and they're like, oh, and is this your mother? Ah.
Welcome. Come on in. We're just talking today with my mom and my aunt about learning disabilities in daily life. So this is my mom, Ginger. And my aunt, Vanessa.
Hello.
And I'm Natalie. And we are
You've been doing this for a while. I'm the new one.
No, it's not going to get any cleaner.
So we are so thankful that that Vanessa is joining us today. This is my Aunt Vanessa. She lives in Arizona. She with her husband and 7 kids. Are they all home? You have?
Well, they're actually all home-ish right now. But yeah, so my youngest is 10 and my oldest is 24. And I have 2 that don't live at home right now, but they're visiting, for the moment.
Great.
Anyway.
Wonderful. And since they are related, there's a genetic property usually to some of these learning disabilities, I believe, because Vanessa also has ADHD. So we're going to get in today about how ADHD acts differently for different people. Because man, oh man, does it look different for other people. I forgot what I was going to say, so that's fine.
Do you want me to introduce you? This is my daughter, Natalie.
Is now the time? Great.
I don't know.
Sure.
She lives in Virginia with her husband and 2 kids.
And this is my sister, Ginger. And she lives in Idaho with, how many kids you got? No, I'm just
A lot.
only 2 kids at home right now. You have 6 kids.
3 bunker down for now. Yeah.
And so my mom is number 3 of 8, and Vanessa is number 6
Yep.
in the 8 lineup. How far apart are you guys?
6 years.
I'm old enough to be her mom.
It's only 6 years, but apparently some people used to think that I could be her daughter.
We were on vacation.
It was one crazy lady.
We were on vacation and somebody comes up and starts talking to her. Oh, hi. You're holding a baby. I don't know which one.
A baby?
You were holding a little one. Yeah. And so then they turn and they're like, oh, and is this your mother? Oh, okay.
That's okay. Somebody asked me one time if me and my husband were siblings. It's all over the place. I can't remember if I've said, but this is my mom's brain and me. Welcome. You should have known what you signed up for. So today, so Vanessa, how long have you known, or at least realized, or that you have ADHD?
I remember it as my mom just saying, like, oh, we all have ADHD. Like, it was just a thing. Like, in our household, everyone had ADHD. It just was. And so we all just lived with it and dealt with it. And that's just, I don't know, it was just the way things were. And it wasn't till much later that, as time went on, it took a while for me to realize how different that I thought and processed things from other people, because my family all kind of seemed to get it, And so, yeah.
And I was already out of the house by the time it was being talked about in the family that, oh, this is how our brains work. And so, yeah, I didn't know till much later to make the connection for me that, oh, this is me. with the ADHD specifically.
Right.
And I didn't even think about really taking medication ever until Ginger started taking medication. And when she went and was starting that process, and she was talking with all the different family members about, you know, what medication that they had tried and everything. And then I was like, maybe that could help. Like I for whatever reason, I hadn't really thought about even trying it. And then when, you know, she got such good results, and I was like so hopeful. And so then I started taking it, and was that it? Was that it? Some kind
That's
of
a saw.
Anyway.
No, I was like, if a lawnmower or a saw doesn't happen during this podcast, it will be a missed opportunity. And so
Because it sounds. Where are you today?
We're kicked out into the woodshed.
we're in our brother's shed. We're here in Oregon for a family event.
Yes.
And so we thought, hey, we could talk together.
And so your brother is probably outside purposefully disrupting.
Oh, no, it's not him.
Oh,
He had other commitments today, but it's a neighbor.
Oh. Dang it.
We're kicked out here because we're too loud, apparently. That's what I was told. I came over because I'm not staying here. And so I came over this morning and everyone's just staring at me. And I was like, hi. And they're like, she's out in the shed. It's too loud.
Because anytime I get on the phone at home and start talking, they're like, and then I get off of their, Mom, you're so loud. Why are you so loud? Just
I remember that.
on the phone.
You'd be like in the kitchen. I'm in my room trying to do my homework. And I'm like, is it necessary to yell into your phone?
It makes it so she can hear better.
I speak at the volume that I need to hear things back, which I used to do with the kids I'd say, what? Really loud. And that didn't,
It doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. And I was told that sounds mean and rude. And so
I was like, well, then speak up so I can hear you.
I was, I don't actually remember like the what, well, actually a little bit, but being told that I need to be at least in the same room because, yeah, I couldn't reach us. That's going to be one of
can
those.
you hear that nice and good?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
That I have to be at least in the same room and I have to speak up because otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. I was trained to notice the sounds because you'd be like, the water is on in the kitchen. I'm doing the dishes. This is what I can hear. So you need to be exactly right next to me in my proximity and not talking from across the room if you want to have a conversation with me. And so I use that now in my daily life, and it confuses some people because they're like, why, like, you can hear me from across the room. Like, we're having a conversation. I was like, yes, but we're not standing next to each other. So like, if I look away, it's not like we were having a conversation. You were just talking at me.
Yeah, so for that example you gave of in the kitchen, that or to say, okay, Mom, I need if you can come over here now, or to move the conversation. But yeah, if I'm still staying with what I'm doing, then yeah, to have adjustments made.
Yeah. So, speaking of noise, because we don't know how long this is going, but so what we've talked about
All day.
Oh, right. Okay. My mom's brain, she's described it as like a hoarder's house. That all the stuff is stacked up all over the place, and all the pieces, all the different thoughts are all there. Do you have like a mental image, Vanessa, of what like ADHD feels like for you?
Well, I definitely, from how Ginger describes it, I definitely don't have as clear a visual as I feel like she has. It's foggier, I guess, in general. But I do remember telling somebody one time, and I felt like it, I felt like it was a good analogy of how it felt, was that, my husband talks about, he fits in that category of like a file box. And then, when you want to think about something, you like take that box and then you take out the file, and then that's what you're focusing on. And so I was like, okay, my brain is like a bowl full of marbles, and all these marbles are my thoughts. And when I have a new idea, it like boom, and it throws in, and all the marbles shake up and are scattering everywhere and rolling around. And that's the closest I've ever got to describing what it feels like to, my thought process, I guess. It never feels, it never feels like linear, or that I'm able to focus, and just rolling everywhere.
But the marbles in the bowl, does that seem to fit or match better, or like
She's so visual. I'm not.
when you blow on a dandelion fluff and they carry in the wind, and so they're coming together and apart, or like with clouds in the sky as you're watching them, and they change shape, and so they can come together more or go apart, or I've heard people talk about, like with fireworks, how when a new idea comes in, and that's like a fireworks. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, our grandmother, when she would get an idea, she would pop up out of her chair.
You literally just like, oh. Yeah. Literally.
You could watch it. You could watch it in real time.
Here, I'm going to turn the gain down just a little more. Does that make it better? And so we just have to come closer.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Is
better.
that better?
Yeah.
Because then hopefully it's catching less of the
Background.
Okay, let's do a profile shot.
The other way. I'm like, okay, but it's weird. I'll do it.
Oh my goodness. So all these different visuals, is there then an instance in your life, Vanessa, that, because we had this whole episode on hobbies, on sewing from my mom, is there an instance in your life where having thoughts like that is really helpful?
Well, it definitely makes it better for like when people are brainstorming, like when we're trying to, think of ideas, and so there are definite times where, where it's helpful like that. So in fact, I think that I'm a little much for people sometimes when we're in like a meeting that we're planning something, and I'm just like, oh, we could do this, or we could do this. And people are like overwhelmed, and they're like, okay, I can't, like, we need to just bring it down. I'm like, okay, like, and I'm okay. Like, I've learned to just keep my mouth shut a lot of times, because it just more ideas keep coming, and it really throws people off to, go off track. If they've got an idea in mind, then they're like, no, we don't want that. But in the first stages of brainstorming, it's great.
Okay, so all of us, especially as adults, and our whole family gets together, And we're like, well, what should we do? And just boom, everybody's got 20 ideas right off the top of their head. And then there's a pause and nobody moves.
We never do anything.
Nobody moves forward. The in-laws and some of the kids drives them nuts.
Yeah.
But we've got ideas. We have ideas.
That's awesome. Because what I'm remembering is we would, whenever we do like a big vacation, it was always with Aunt Vanessa and her family. Because
yeah,
For the favorite.
I was going to say fun.
because they're good at planning. And
Don't say that.
And
My husband is great at planning and doing. He lives for his vacations. Like on vacation, he plans his next vacation. While he's eating dinner, he's planning his next dinner. Like when
It's
he's
amazing.
enjoying something, he immediately goes to plan the next time he can do that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I married a planner and
and a fulfiller, and a carry out. Yeah,
for sure. So that's why we go on
If
vacation.
it was just the two of us, we do have ideas for days.
okay, well that makes sense. But it was still always fun. But it would make sense then why like on the vacations, like all of the meals were already planned out because we'd usually be camping, and so you'd have to make sure that you had all the things in the cooler. And that's just one example of the things that you needed. Plus, you guys would usually bring a boat, and so you have to do all the boat things. I don't even know what goes into all that, but it was super fun. But it was super different for me growing up with my wonderful parents. But we wouldn't plan vacations like that.
Yeah.
Well, there'd be planning. But then
It's not really, but see, that's the thing is like there is a difference between planning and, what's the word? Not thinking about, but just like, it's like a brainstorming session. It's like thinking about this and dreaming and being like, what if, and I feel like that is not the same as planning. Like it might be this first step before you start planning, but there's a difference between like with ideas, that's the brainstorming session. That's the what if session. And then planning is when you actually are putting, pencil to paper or whatever, and you choose a date or you choose possible dates and you like, that's when planning starts actually. So in my mind, I think of them as two different things because again, being married to someone who is very good at planning and following through with it, there are lots of people that are impressed with that. There throughout our lives, and people tell me, "Oh, he's so good at making things happen and organizing all these things. He's in charge of the youth camp this summer, and he's like, how do I get people to like respond to my emails or whatever?" And I'm like, I don't know, honey, you're special. Like you could just like, because he's just on it. He just is always able to do whatever. And so it's made it wonderful. And we've had to remind our kids plenty of times because we do make it a priority to vacation. A lot of times it's visiting a different family, but he definitely enjoys that. And we would talk about to our kids about how this is special. Not everybody does this. Not every family makes that a priority. And so, we would talk about how I didn't do that. Like I didn't go on vacations. I didn't get to stay, on the floor of a hotel. like they're complaining about not getting a bed in the hotel room. And I'm like, you're in a hotel room though. And we're on vacation. So, that was very different than what I had growing up.
For me, as a linear logical person, it's very much like, yes, how can I plan and be more efficient and effective? And is that something that you guys also do. I don't know.
It's the dreaming stage for us.
I like the planning. I love the spreadsheets. I've scared you away from more than one shared Google spreadsheet because I can have 20, 30 tabs and put all the things. It's the next steps, and that I need to break them down into small steps and then move forward with those steps. That's the hang up. That's the issue with
And prioritizing.
Right. Because, we only have so many hours in a day, and apparently we can't never sleep. That affects. So there's that. But
I love
Same.
yeah.
I don't know about you. So brainstorming is super good for you. Well, something that your ADHD gives you a superpower on. Is there times, you have 7 kids. Is there times when your ADHD just are like, this is not helping me at all?
I can't. Like, he starts the saw every time. I'm like,
Okay. I'm really curious as to the project because of how the saw sounds, right?
we're going to go there. I hope this looks good. I hope this was worth it. What was the question? When has it not been helpful? So like at times when like people ask you a direct question and you like need to give a direct answer. One thing that I have that I've taught my kids, kind of like how Ginger was talking about, telling them, the water's running, this is what I hear, kind of thing. And I do the same thing, but I hate choosing favorites because I want to try everything. I want to enjoy everything. I want to I think I live in the fear of missing out because not that I'm always living in fear necessarily, but it's like, I want to be a part of the party, if something's happening, I want to be there. Anyway, so choosing a favorite to me is like telling people that I don't like all those other movies. I don't like all those other colors or whatever. You ask me my favorite and I'm just like, oh, like if I commit to this by saying, oh, this is my favorite, whatever, I really didn't like that. And I actually remember our older sister telling me that when I was tested, I was like right before kindergarten, I think, or just after kindergarten. And I was tested really high academically, but very low socially. And it was a joke that I would tell people because I'm so social and, throughout school, very social. And so our older sister, she's like, well, what would happen is these people would be asking you questions like, what's your favorite color? Or, what's your favorite thing to do or something? And she even used the word favorite. And so I would sit there and think about it because to me, like, you making me narrow something down, it like that doesn't make any sense. I love to do so many things. And so, anyway, that helped me realize why it was confusing for other people because like socially I was totally fine in school. And, as time went on, I would be even less and less, worried about what other people thought and just being gregarious. And, so it is kind of funny that I wasn't considered socially, adept to be in the grade I was in. But I think it's just another misconception of like my brain is working differently, and it's not okay with me to like make this my favorite. And so my kids are like, okay, well, what's one that you like, or what are two colors that you like?
Top 3 today.
I love that. Yeah, at this moment. I love that because for me, I just can't. It's a serious question when somebody asks you what your favorite thing is.
It's no joke.
You're like, it's a commitment. Because what? They ask you your favorite color, and from then on, they only get you like yellow things. I don't know.
That's what I do. That's when I find somebody's favorite color. That's all you get.
Or like our grandmother, it's like, careful what you tell her that you like, because then you'll only get root beer whenever you go to her house. That's it. She'll only have root beer for you.
Corn. You must have said you liked corn cob holders.
Grown up.
Oh my goodness. She is on her deathbed trying to make sure that I got those corn cob holders.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I got them.
Okay. That's what.
Seriously, Mom called me. She's like, I think you need to write her a thank you note about thanking her for the corn cob holders, because I think she's not passing on. She needs to make sure that you got them. I thanked her in person. I wrote her a thank you card. Be at peace, grandmother.
Because of one time.
I don't remember ever saying that. I mean, I'm guessing I did. Like, she had some cute ones, so I'm guessing, like, as a kid, you know, I don't even think we owned corn cob holders in our house. And so
she's too full.
visiting her house, and she had these little corn cob holders that looked like corn or whatever. I probably said something. I mean, it wasn't significant because, again, I enjoy lots of things, and yeah. Yes.
Did you get them?
Do I have them now? No. Because that's within a year or two. I was like, I don't actually ever use these. I don't want them.
Wasn't there at least like 10 pairs?
I can't remember.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it was a bit.
So lots of vacations and trips, courtesy of your husband. So are you with your husband on this trip?
No, right now it's just my second child, who has, because it's a cousin's wedding who he's really close with now. And so just the two of us. And because we were flying, it wasn't as easy to just bring whoever wants to come kind of thing. So, but he definitely
Is it a lot more fun?
no, because he planned so much that he actually bought the tickets. He signed up for Phoenix Reserve so that we didn't have to wait long in the long security check line. He makes sure that I'm taken care of because he doesn't like to deal with me not being where I'm supposed to be. Because I do remember early in our marriage, and he was like, where were you? Why didn't you, like, I didn't know where you were for a few hours. I can't remember where I'd gone. And
oh wait, your kid who's with you, or your husband, set you up for the?
My husband did all of that.
Oh, okay.
He set up all the things, and even when I had booked a flight for something, and then I was like, oh, I should make sure to do the Phoenix Reserve. It's great. if you have to fly through Phoenix Airport, definitely do it. But then, like, the next day, I get an email that he forwarded to me that he'd already done it. So I was like telling him, I'm like, I mean, you're just like, you don't even give me a chance to be my own responsible adult. And he's like, you have to do it 7 days before. You have to. It's not like you can't just wait till like 4 days before.
The night before.
And I mean, and it kind of makes him sound like really like such a stickler, and he's really not. He's very
Pretty laid back, actually.
yeah, and but he's just, that is his talent, that is his gift to, you know, to plan things like that, and he went on a trip. We went on a trip a few years ago that his side of the family basically left everything in his hands and was just relying on him to do all of it. And he's like, I'm done. I'm just done. He's like, I understand that like this is a talent, but like every piece of the puzzle where he was like, okay, you guys need to do this and you guys need to do that, and them not getting around to it. And so part of it was like, I need to accept that this is my talent, and that, you know, I am going to be relied on for things, but that he's just more clear with expectations when it does come to people who might, you know, take advantage of that.
And setting appropriate boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's my family, that when I lived closer with my husband, and would just be like, I don't know, just going down for the weekend, or maybe it was even just like holidays. And my husband would be like, okay, so does your mom know we're coming? I was like, I mean, I haven't told her, but she knows. And it's like the night before. And he's like, so are we bringing anything? What are we doing? And I was like, I mean, there'll be food. And
It'll happen or it won't.
he's like, so what time are we getting there? When did we tell them? I was like, I mean, when we get up. I
actually, I have in-laws on my husband's side that live near here where we are, and I didn't tell them until I landed yesterday. I texted them. I'm like, so I'm in town. When can I stop by? Is Saturday okay? And they're like, oh, sure, okay. I've had this trip planned for how many months, and I like never told them that I was coming into town.
I love
We
it.
talked
So
enough about
good.
my husband. Let's talk more about
So
me.
let's see.
Let's get this back on track. That was my fault. Sorry.
I know. I mean, I always thought it was you. So then, so one of the things then, that if you're so good, like with socializing, with get along with other people, is that more personality? Is that
I think that is. I don't know if that's picking up on the microphone, but okay.
it is the purposeful, intentional.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Good. Sorry. What was the question?
Because growing up,
Oh, sorry. We're back. Okay.
no, it's because growing up, you're very much like had the fun activities going on, that you'd be pulling out stuff, and we'd as kids we'd gather over, and Aunt Vanessa's got an activity for us to do, and that was always super
I
fun.
love that. Thank you.
Oh. And so socializing and getting along with people and creating fun, is that personality? Is that ADHD? Is it a healthy mix of both?
I think it's a bit of both, but again, like I feel like with like ADHD is its own thing, and so when you mix that with this personality or that personality, it's going to manifest in different ways. And so yeah, because I'm and I've learned lots about personality things from Ginger, because I am also fascinated with that. So I'm what type am I? I don't know.
Of which one?
I know, right? I'm just like, I'm type 1 here, and I'm anyway. but yes, I definitely am motivated by fun. That is my motivation. And so it's just about having a good time and enjoying life. And so I do try to make that the focus. And it was very hard as a new mom and feeling like the responsibility of what like motherhood should look like, and not being able to fulfill that in very many ways. And so it was very difficult. And I have actually dealt with depression in later years because and I've seen this, like when you look at, there's like people like Robin Williams, where they're so, outgoing, and, you would never think that somebody is dealing with depression because they're just like, when they're out, they're big and enjoying things. But when you feel like you're so different, then it just, because the things that are difficult for me are things that, in general, people are like, well, what do you mean it's hard to do this simple task that everyone does every day? Like, what do you mean that's difficult? And so it does really, it becomes a burden like that I took on. I wish I knew better to not take that on. And so with you guys doing this podcast and everything, I think it's just like the purpose is to let people know, like, okay, we're all different, and it doesn't, motherhood, adulthood, being a working, contributing member of society is not always going to look the same. And we need to recognize that. So
I like that you brought up that you started going into motherhood immediately with that. That is how. Okay, first question, and it'll immediately go into a second question. Do any of your kids have ADHD?
Yes.
Like,
okay,
3 of them?
I need to pause for just a second because I need to plug in. I forgot to plug in my computer.
Oh.
So just a moment.
Oh, okay. Intermission.
Rip it out.
Okay, actually, this isn't something we've asked you either. How many of your children, Mom, have ADHD?
I
knows how to cut
think
tape.
3. I think 3. I don't think it goes on the side.
50%?
You're right. It doesn't go on that side.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure 3 of my 6 have.
I am just loving this, this ADHD vibe we got.
know what you speak of. What? I've been here the whole time.
What do you mean?
So do you know how many, or are your children still maybe a bit young that you don't know ADHD wise?
So I have 2 that I, and I talked about it with them. My number 2 child and my number 5 child. And I feel like it was helpful for them to know. And I discussed with them, like, here are some things that for me, that it makes it harder to do this, or I've noticed that you have a hard time doing this or that. And just kind of like, as they move along through life to, as they were growing up in my household, that I would discuss things like that with them. And, I don't think discussed it as often with my number 2 child. He's in college now, but with my number 5 child, I don't know how much is like his personality, but he definitely has ADHD and he's social like me. But he has been able to get things done. He has the I forget stuff all the time, but I think because I've talked about it with him, and he like, I don't know, he's just going through school really fast, and he just like makes a schedule of like how he wants to, I don't know, it probably gets it from his dad, but like I see the ADHD, but yet I don't know how much of it is just like, you know, his personality is just the type that he's going to, you know, be able to follow those schedules, and like he's more disciplined in that sense, but he still has just as much of a hard time like staying focused. But he like cares more and is able to bring it back around and not beat himself up about it. Because I think growing up, I would immediately feel the guilt and shame of, well, the shame of not, you know, staying focused. And so I think that has been a big help for him, that it's just who he is and he's okay with it. And, you know, I think that's kind of where we want to be, right? Is that it's not this immediate feeling of, oh, I messed up again, but that he's going off on little tangents as he's sitting to do his homework, but then he's asking, you know, me questions about some random mountain in South America that I'm like, is this part of your homework? No, I was just wondering, you know, like, but then he just gets back to it, and he doesn't feel bad about it. And so it's really been great to be able to, you know, take what what's been a struggle for me, and hopefully help them to not have to deal with that struggle as bad.
Well, I thought too about how, depending what time period, I don't know if I brought this up another time, but depending what time in history and or, you know, where you would be dropped as far as families, culture, other placed. But,
Stork, just on Earth geographically.
because there's, as I've thought about it, there's certain things that I would still not even know and wouldn't be an issue depending what time period it was and where I was born and what my situation was like. And so it is interesting as she's explaining and talking about with her child, and how I've been to her house lots of times. It's opportunity for creativity is very high.
What a nice way to say it.
Okay, but like if I'm the one in charge of making dinner or a meal, I get shut down. I can't move forward if there's other projects and activities and people going on, if there's enough of that in there, and then I'm not able to move forward. And then to say, oh, well, you know, teach your kid, help your kid, like you can all be in there together and working. And again, it shuts me down. I can't. And so, but your kids feel welcomed, an opportunity to be able to go in there and create and try and practice. And like, there's one of your kids where I've seen her where she's in like, oh, well, I tried this and that didn't work. And so I had to start over again. And that's not available to everyone to be able to feel comfortable enough where they can do that. And that's huge. And so I, like, neither of our houses would be a spread in a what magazine of this is, because
I could be in Hoarders. What magazine are we talking about?
like the magazines.
We get it. It's fine. We get it.
because they're lived in, and
Yes.
people are doing things and learning, and so
Actually, that makes me think about the reason why my house is
creative.
Yes, it's a mess, and it has definitely weighed on me a lot through my life, because again, that standard of motherhood and what your house should look like and what you should be doing with your kids, right?
And that it reflects on you
Exactly.
morally as a person when it
Yeah,
shouldn't.
but growing up, I was the youngest of 6. Yes, I'm number 6 of 8, but I was the youngest of 6 because I didn't become an older sister until I was 8 and a half. So I was the baby for a while, and little sisters are annoying and oh my goodness. And so and I'm not even blaming anybody for the fact I probably was very annoying. I'm just out here doing my own thing. I'm fun, but yeah, I got,
Well, teenagers have to be annoyed with home life to move on to the next.
it was mainly the 2 boys between us that was the problem. That they were like, they enjoyed teasing me and, be silly and gregarious and dance around. And, so that was big for me and why I made my home a safe place for my kids to be who they are. Sometimes I have to remind the other children, no, it's okay that they're singing. I understand that, you don't want to hear that song again, but it's their house too. And even though they're a little sibling, they can, they can take up space here and take up noise here. And it is a very creative house. And I like how you put that, because it did help me put that in perspective of, and it was even sometimes a difficult thing for my husband because they don't always clean up after themselves. And I cannot keep up with cleaning up after that many children when they're literally doing painting projects upstairs and then cooking downstairs and not, they start cooking young, and I like that. And, but the kitchen was another place to be creative, and it easily gets messy. And then, Dad wants to go use the kitchen. He's just like, it weighs on him when the kitchen is dirty and different things like that. So it was difficult. Our kids are older now, basically. Basically, it was just having enough older kids where I'm able to keep up with it a little better, because we didn't necessarily fix the problem other than they got older and were able to clean up after themselves better.
Well, the other thing is the amount of things that your kids are able to do. I mean,
again, the ADHD, I can't focus on just one. We got to have paints and fabric and, music.
And
The didgeridoo.
and
Yeah, right.
and so for them to be able to have those skills and try out things that they like to try it out, to touch things, to to hands-on. And and what comes to mind is grandmas and how our two
Not
grandmas,
grandmother. Oh, you're talking about both of them.
our two grandma are completely different.
Yes.
So different, but each one absolutely awesome. And I loved each one for who they were and what they offered. And I don't think it even ever occurred to me till I was an adult, how far into being an adult, where I started to, I don't know, think of them more as an individual person than just my grandma, and what their life had been like, and maybe some other stories about them from when they were younger that I didn't know or connect with. Oh, yes, that's my grandma. That's the same person. And so that it's more acceptable for grandmas to be one way. And I don't think that us as moms always give ourselves permission for that. And so to have one be the sweet, kind, sit and talk with you and give you a hug and listen to your long, drawn out stories, that if she's doing that, then that means she's not jumping up and playing the
and never
jacks, yeah, and saying, "Ooh, let's go here, let's do this," and then because she's doing the one thing means she's not doing all the other things, and it makes complete sense viewing that as, oh, well, that's my grandma, that's how she is, that's what she does, and I feel like it would have been a lot more helpful to, give that permission as a mom to be like, oh, well, this is the mom I am. And so other moms do that. That's awesome. That's great. That's them. This is me, and this is how I navigate. And I think part of it is we don't know who we are enough. I still don't.
Yeah, but, no, yeah. I mean, that's true. Two things that made me think of. One is I love the show The Middle with Patricia Heaton, I think. And one of the episodes, or for a few episodes, she'd just be like, wrong family. Like the kid would complain about this and she's like, wrong family. Like, that's not what we do here, you know? Like, don't expect that. And also something about Katie. Now I forgot what it was.
I love how you guys are talking about that especially because I became a mom not too long ago. It was only like 4 years ago. And so to feel that of just like this expectation of like having to do all the things all the time with a brand new baby, nah. Doesn't it take like 10,000 hours to get good at something? And I calculated that out, and that would mean that by the time my child was 3, to become like a master at being a mom. So that meant I was a master at being a mom of a 3-year-old.
No, because you weren't a mom of a 3-year-old for that long. Because part of that, you were a mom doing a baby. So yeah, it just takes. So that's why I do remember what it was. Right. So my oldest, I told her at a time when she was 16, and again, this is a time when my depression was getting pretty bad. I think So, but I said, you know, being the oldest, right, is hard. You're the guinea pig and whatever. And I said, when your little sister, who's 10 years younger than you, is 16, I'm going to be a different mom. I hopefully will be a better mom, because you wouldn't want me to go through life and 10 years later not have learned anything, not have grown, not have become a better mom. I'm going to be a better mom to her because I'm going to be older and hopefully wiser. And you know, I don't know if that made her feel better necessarily, but I mean, it is what it is, you know, like, it's tough being the oldest, I'm sure, because we
wouldn't know.
But I literally, okay, so now she's 24, and it was literally just a few days ago where I held her and she cried and I said, I'm sorry, because there was stuff that she's still like dealing with because I didn't know what I was doing, you know? And she even says as she's crying, you did the best you could. I'm not mad at you, you know, but it's still, you still have to deal with that. You know, you still have, like, that is what you have to deal with. And so even though you understand that, you know, I did the best I could, that still doesn't mean that it wasn't hard and that she's still struggling with dealing with some of that. Yeah. So it makes sense that as a mom, we're going to take some time to not feel bad for ourselves and not being better.
And that you as well, we talked about this on another episode, but to be able to apologize as a mom, and even now for the stuff that you like previously did, I know my mom always says like, well, you got to have something to talk about in therapy.
Those people need to keep their job. And I am helping too.
Kidding, of course, but I mean, all under this, that we're only doing our best, and there will be places in which we are lacking, and to be able to accept that human side of us and just continue to press forward. And our last little bit, I love how we talked about that your home is such like a creative, open space of just discovery for children, like your children. But I've also seen neighbor kids come over too. So, to have such a discovery spot and location, that having, and your experiences as a child with ADHD, to then have that come out with your children. What if a mom is trying to go more in that direction for her home, but she might be struggling? Is there any last advice you might have for her?
So, it honestly helped me when, like, with COVID and everyone kind of getting online, and I got on TikTok and realized how many other mothers out there are struggling with ADHD, and actually kind of seeing into their homes and what they struggled with. And I was like, it was just very comforting to realize, like, okay, I'm not that weird. I'm not that messed up, you know, and that, so it really helps to just kind of like, there have been times when I do like a web search where it's in a negative place, and I'm like, validating my own negative thoughts. And so what you need to do, what I found, is you validate the good. And so search, our world is open to everyone now. So find those people that are making the most of their creativity, of their, just whatever it is that you want to be doing, then work to put that into your life, and do your best to those around you that you may have to live with, that don't understand. Just be patient with them, and you keep, you know, living your truth, as they say, and doing your best, and realizing that it's good enough, whatever that is right now.
Did you have a last thought, Mom?
But it went. Oh, actually, yes, I do.
Okay.
You said you're not that big of a weirdo, and I wore these earrings that they were pendants, and I thought, oh, that's funny. I wish somebody would make earrings and give it to me. And then I was like, I can do it myself. So
you got to be like an influencer.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Do the whole thing. It says. It says, "You're my favorite weirdo."
It says you're my favorite weirdo, and so I made earrings for myself, and I gave them to myself
because she is her favorite weirdo.
I am, not to dismiss anybody.
I'm second.
I'm okay with other weirdos. I am my favorite weirdo.
Oh, the self-acceptance is so high. I love it. So thank you so much for joining us today. This has been so awesome. We have our Smitten Nail Mail Club. If you'd like to connect and join with us, letters from Gwen. We send out from our fictional character, Gwendolyn. She writes to her grandmother every month about things that she's learning in her life and things that bring her joy. And it comes with little goodies, stickers, scent cards, quotes, and things. Join us on our Facebook group, Creative Compassionate Connections. I love so much that we talked about today with Vanessa here that just really we want to spark more creativity, more doing, and to do so in a compassionate, uplifting way, even if it's just messy and you look like a 3-year-old doing it. That's okay. Let's see. We should still have our giveaway going on. Go back to our last episode on laundry and comment there. Join us on our Facebook group. Comment again for 2 chances for a chance to win the giveaway. And we are picking on Memorial Day. Okay. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.